everyone, Josh Palmer here. Today I'm doing the simple movie tag. I was tagged by my friend Huss at A Touch of Film, and I'm going to be going through these 10 questions, answering some basic films related questions about me. So without further ado, let's get into it. I got my little list here. So the first question is your favorite film and your least favorite film. So people that know me know my favorite film of all time is Hanabi by Takeshi Kitano. This is a masterpiece in my opinion. It's one I don't like to talk about very much. Occasionally I'll be like, hey, Hanabi picture. But it's a film that I don't feel like I can quite do justice. It's somber. It's got some sweet moments to sort of soften the blow a bit. But overall, it's sort of a depressing experience. But it's got awesome cinematography. Takeshi Kitano's humor is on point as always. And the score by Joe Hisaishi is just masterful. This is an absolutely beautiful film. It was released by Third Window Films on Blu-ray. They restored it, remastered it, and put it out on this lovely Blu-ray edition. It's got an original cover with the slip. I think it's limited to like 1,000. And yeah, since this is a review / Blu-ray focus channel, I figured I would show off the copies of what films I do have. Yeah, Hanabi is something one day I hope to talk about. It's just finding the right words to say for it. If you haven't seen this, highly, highly, highly recommend it. And then my least favorite movie. This is just the one that I pulled. You know, you could go for like the Transformers, or for me, I don't really like the Dark Knight movies, but they're not my least favorite films of all time. There's mindless, stupid movies that I could put on this list, but they'd be too easy. So I'm going for one that frustrates me a lot, and that would be Bestseller. It's a Korean film from 2010, and it stars Jung-hwa, and she is an author, and there's like a murder mystery thing going on. And again, I'm just repeating this for those of you who have not seen this. I got a new kitten, so he's going to be meowing the whole time, so I apologize for the noise. But anyway, this movie is awful. It's got some nice technical merits, and Jung-hwa does fine, but the story's convoluted. It's just the acting's sort of weird. It tries to be tense, but it just feels fake. Everything feels rushed, and the direction is sloppy and messy, and it's literally an embarrassment put on film. And I own it on Blu-ray because I thought it would be awesome. So yeah, Bestseller. Favorite actor and actress. So my favorite actor, again, those who know me, would be the Korean actor Choi Min-sik. He is most famous for being in Oldboy, the Park Chan-wook film. And then I picked another favorite of mine, which is Fei Lan. And he stars opposite Hong Kong actress Cecilia Chung. Oldboy really needs no introduction. About a man who was in prison for 15 years, and he seeks to set revenge out on the person who imprisoned him there. And then Fei Lan is about this kind of low-life, petty gangster man played by Choi Min-sik, and Cecilia Chung plays as a woman who is terminally ill that moves over to Korea as an immigrant, and she needs to find somebody to marry her legally so that she can stay in Korea and not get deported back to where she's from. Really heartbreaking movie. One of Choi Min-sik's finest performances. For those who have not seen it, I highly recommend this. And of course, if you haven't seen Oldboy, then you need to get on that because it is a masterpiece. This is actually my third favorite film of all time, so yeah. And then my favorite actress, who I do talk about quite a lot, would be Chun Do-yeon. She is a Korean actress, and she first caught my attention with Im Sang-soo's Housemaid remake, the old Kim Ki-young film. Then I saw her in this, and she blew me away, concreted herself as my favorite living actress, and she still holds that title. She is absolutely breathtaking in everything that she does and gives powerhouse performances. She's an absolute tour de force, as they say. And even the mediocre movies she's in, she manages to bring something to it, and at least she is always watchable, no matter what she's in. So Secret Sunshine would be the starting point for her. Then some other films. I actually have The Housemaid. I didn't grab it, but I can put a picture right here. And then one of her first big roles, The Harmonium in My Memory from 1999, stars opposite Lee Byung-hun. A movie that's it's not too bad. My Mother, the Mermaid. She has a dual role in this, kind of a hops back and forth in time sort of thing. A movie that I was highly disappointed in, Lee Young-ki's A Man and a Woman, has two great performers in it, but it's kind of a mess. And then the last thing I saw her in, which she blew me away in, and that would be The Shameless by the director of Kilimanjaro. And there she is. There she is, great and fierce in this film. Yeah, The Shameless is one of those kind of Korean films that played at Cannes, but it sort of went under the radar after that, and I constantly am praising this film. It's probably my favorite film of 2015 when it came out, and I think more people really need to seek it out. It is an absolutely fantastic film. Korean film fans will love this one. It's one hell of a movie. Okay, so moving on. I've answered question 1 and 2. Question 3 is favorite director, and I cannot pick a favorite director. I have 3 who always battle in this epic battle for my favorite director, and I just can't choose between the 3. So I'm actually going to pick a lesser known movie from each of the 3 directors and recommend these. So first up, the one who I always claim is my favorite when I have to choose one, and that would be Park Chan-wook, the director of Oldboy, and most recently The Handmaiden. But I'm gonna recommend I'm a Cyborg, but that's okay. This is from 2006. It's the film he made right after the Vengeance trilogy, and this one's really vastly underseen, and the people that seen it say it's weird and they don't really like it because it's not as dark as his other films, but I beg to differ. I say give this another go and watch it with a different mindset. I think it's one of Park's finest films. I absolutely adore this. Im Soo-jung is great in it, as well as Rain, the pop singer. They have excellent chemistry. It's very got some vivid imagery, really imaginative editing, and the characters in it are just really memorable, and it's a lot of fun. So yeah, I'm a Cyborg. Next, I will go with my other favorite. Well, these are all favorites. This is the person that I can't think of another person that I relate to more in the film world than this man here, Takeshi Kitano, the director of Hana-bi, my favorite film of all time. This is A Scene at the Sea. This is a really underrated movie. Early on in Kitano's career, after he got into the wreck and it messed up his face, it caused his body to stroke out, and he didn't want to be seen on camera naturally while he was recuperating, so he decided to direct a movie that didn't have him in it, and this is easily one of his best works. I think this is a masterpiece. It has an absolutely beautiful score by Joe Hisaishi, and it's about these two characters that one's a surfer and another one's just a girl that he happens upon, and he is deaf, and she, I'm pretty sure, she's deaf as well, so it's hard to explain, but it just takes place by the beach, and you see him and his job, and it's sort of just their daily lives, and he finds a surfboard that's broken, and he's trying to put it back together. It's got a lot of symbolism, and it's just absolutely beautiful, and it's one I can put on anytime and just watch all the way through and just feel relaxed. It's a really beautiful, serene movie. It's got that sadness to it, without it ever being like overwhelmingly like depressing. It's a sort of a bittersweet, but cannot recommend this enough. And then last of my favorite directors would be Shinya Tsukamoto from Japan. He directed Tetsuo the Iron Man, crazy avant-garde experimental film from 1986, and he directed one of my other favorite movies of all time. It's in my top 5, A Snake of June, and I would recommend that. It is a little bit lesser known, Tsukamoto, but it seemed to garner much more attention, so I decided to go with one of his more recent films, Kotoko, from 2011. This stars the singer Coco and is about a woman with a double personality, and she has a kid. She's a single mother, and you just see her mind as she slowly tears herself apart mentally. And then one day a mysterious man played by Tsukamoto enters her life, and the two form a destructive relationship. Fantastic cinematography as usual. It's very handheld and digital and shaky like Tsukamoto does well. Some people think that the cinematography is not that great in this, but I absolutely love the visual. Alright, so I want to apologize real quick. My camera died out. Apparently the memory on my phone is full, so I went through and cleaned up some stuff. And I know I died mid-sentence, so I'm going to try to figure out where I was at. I know I was talking about the cinematography on Kotoko, the Shinya Tsukamoto film. Some people complain about the cinematography. If I remember correctly, that's where I was at. But I think it's good. I love the handheld, chaotic, shaky visual aesthetic that Tsukamoto does so well. And in fact, while he may not have pioneered handheld, I think he's artistically expressed the shaky handheld camera better than anybody I can think of. Kotoko is a brilliant character study, and it's one I recommend to everybody. It's a masterpiece, and yeah, it's just very, very strong, disturbing film, and it'll definitely stick with you. And then the next question, number 4, is favorite genre. And while it's kind of a generic answer because it kind of broadens it to almost every movie that exists, I'm going with drama. I love horror and sci-fi and action and martial arts and avant-garde and comedy, but I think just a human drama is what appeals to me the most. Real, everyday issues that people face and go with. And so I'm going to recommend 2 movies by a director who I think tackles drama very well, and she is an amazing director and writer. Her name is Miwa Nishikawa. She's from Japan, and she's directed 2 of my favorite movies of all time. They're in my top 30, which I can leave a link for down below, my Letterboxd account. Anyway, she made, in 2012, a film called Dreams for Sale. This was released by Bandai Visual through Japan, and this has English subtitles on the main feature. This is about a couple who work at a small restaurant that them and their friends own. I think they just work there. It's not their restaurant. But the restaurant burns down in a fire, and the 2 are struggling to make ends meet. So she crafts this crazy solution for her husband to gather money from women that he sleeps with. That could be potential spoilers, but that is the plot of the film. So yeah, Dreams for Sale. Sort of an extreme situation that a lot of people won't find themselves getting into, but I think she handles dramas in a way that nobody else can. And this is an absolutely powerful film. I've seen it multiple times. Nobody's heard of this film, it seems like, and I recommend it to everybody. Then last year, Miss Miwa Nishikawa came out with a new film called The Longest Excuse, and she may have even topped Dreams for Sale. This stars, I don't remember his name, Motokai? Something like that. The man from Departures. He was a pop star in Japan, but he was also in Gemini by Shinya Tsukamoto. This is easily the best thing I've seen him in. It's about a man who was having an affair with his wife the night that she dies in a bus accident. And that is not spoilers, it's actually the opening of the film and just a general plot synopsis. And then Pistol Takeharu, a famous singer turned actor, plays as another man that he runs into who is also a victim of his wife passing away on the bus. These 2 men's wife were friends, and they died during this tragic accident. And like I said, the main character was cheating on his wife with another woman, and it's just about loss and people who don't handle loss. It's just about loss in general, but it's handled in a way different than I think most people would go through. But it's absolutely brilliant. I can't recommend it enough. I really don't want to say a lot. I actually feel like I might have spoiled Dreams for Sale for people who haven't seen it, but both wonderfully written films and directed masterfully. I actually want to go back and check out Miwa Nishikawa's back work. She's only made about, I think, 6 films, so she is a master, and I'm saying that just from these 2 films. I can't recommend them both enough. So Dreams for Sale and The Longest Excuse. Alright, question number 5 would be your favorite horror movie. Now there's a few horror films that I really like. I like the film Martyrs from France. The Ju-on films come to mind, mainly the first Ju-on. I absolutely love that J-horror movement from the early 2000s. Cairo is a masterpiece. Well, I say that I haven't seen it in a while. Retribution, also by Kiyoshi Kurosawa. A lot of Japanese films are my favorite horror films of all time. I think Japan scares me more than any place with their horror tales. And one of my favorite films, while not horror in your traditional sense of like jump scares and ghosts and whatnot, I think it is horrifying. And that would be Takashi Miike's 1999 Audition. This stars Ryo Ishibashi as a man whose wife has died, and he's hosting an audition through his movie company. Sort of, well, it's a fake audition, and he's trying to score a date with the person who wins the audition. And he lands a date with this lovely lady who, spoilers, is batshit crazy, but I think people that know this film already know that it's crazy. I actually don't want to say too much about it, other than the structure of the film, and it's something I've actually dubbed into a thing, which I don't know if that's pretentious or not, but it's something I call the audition effect, which is that you have a film that's slow going, and everything sort of seems mundane and like it doesn't have much purpose, but in the end, things ratchet up to 11, and things get crazy. You feel like you almost haven't seen anything really happen, but the end is crazy. Then when you rewatch the film, you learn more and more, and these little things become more significant. And I think this is a film that's better upon rewatch. The first time I watched it, I was like, that ending was awesome, but it was slow until it got there. Upon further revisits and whatnot, I absolutely adore this film, and I think it's strong from beginning to end. There is a novel version by Ryu Murakami. I think that's his name. That might be the other guy. There's two Ryus, and one of them's more famous than the other. But, gosh, I'm pretty sure I might have just said the wrong man's name. But anyway, yeah, he's done stuff like Coin Locker Babies, in the Miso Soup. He's a brilliant, twisted author, and yeah. Anyway, Audition, I think everybody needs to see this, but be warned, it's a little squeamish there towards the end. Sorry, once again, my cats are distracting me. My older cat's sitting here smelling of the tripod and licking it for some weird reason. And anyway, the next question is your favorite animated film, and there is a lot that I really like. Miyazaki's Ponyo, My Neighbor Totoro, I like that a lot. Satoshi Kon's Perfect Blue, Paprika by the same filmmaker. There's a lot. I really like Triplets of Belleville, whatever it is. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Son Yang-ho's The Fake. This is a movie I saw a couple years back. I bought this and King of Pigs at the same time. King of Pigs was good, but I think it was sort of overwhelming. And then I popped in The Fake, and this film blew me away. I do throw the word masterpiece at it, which I know that's a word that a lot of people don't like throwing around. But I am blown away by this film. I've seen it a few times since. It's about a man in this village, and he's this piece of crap, horrible, narcissistic, nihilistic person. He hates his existence and everyone around him. He's a drunk. He beats and molests women. Just a real crappy, horrible person. A kind of guy you'd just punch if you ever met him in real life. And then this man moves in from the city and starts a church organization and begins to build up the religion, and they're a little crazy. And that's all I want to say without spoiling it. It's a really good film, and this character has an interesting arc. Sort of the film and the people in general have an interesting arc, but I won't get into that and spoil it. I think it's brilliant. It's got awesome social commentary that Yeon Sang-ho does very well. He recently made Train to Busan, which is what people know him most for, although that's a little blatant in its political views. But The Fake is awesome, very depressing, very dark. A lot of people don't like this movie, and I can understand why. But I think, like I said, that it's freaking fantastic. And this Blu-ray edition is out of print, but it was released by KD Media. And if you can find it, I recommend it. Oh yeah, that came out to the US. I forgot about that. Since I own this, it just left my mind. I'm pretty sure it was all of films they released, both The Fake and King of Pigs on Blu-ray. So yeah, you can get it cheap. Forgot about that. And then moving on, which I'm going to do a cut here. It will be my... Actually, no, I can talk about this right here. Because I don't have an example. Well, actually I do. I have it on hand. Favorite soundtrack / score. I honestly don't have a list of favorite film scores. Music is, I like music a lot, and actually I listen to music all the time, and I would say I have pretty broad taste. To generalize, Joe Hisaishi's works on Takeshi Kitano's earlier films before the two got into a feud and fell apart as a partner relationship. I love his works on Kitano's films, and I think one of his greatest is A Scene at the Sea. Now, I can't go into, like, you know, the technical aspect of it because I'm not really very musically inclined, but just the way his music makes me feel, I think this one draws out that feeling more than almost any of his other works. I think a close second would be Kikujiro. Go to YouTube, type in Joe Hisaishi meets Takeshi Kitano, I believe that's what it's called, and just listen to that. It's a compilation of his best works from the Kitano films that he has worked on, and tell me that it's not good music. I listen to it all the time, and I actually would love to buy it at some point. But anyway, I will go with A Scene at the Sea for my favorite film score. Okay, so number 8 is Best Cinema Experience. Now, here's the thing about me. I have not been to the cinema that much in my life. I'd say probably 30 times or so. I know it sounds like a lot, but given that I'm almost 27 years old, it's not that much. In fact, when I met my wife, well, she's my wife now, but when I met her, I actually I've been to the movies more with her than I have in my entire life, in my collective 25 prior years. And yeah, so I'd say my favorite cinema experience would be every time I get to see a non-American film. I don't have anything against American cinema. Well, actually modern cinema kind of annoys me, but that's the topic for another video. Anytime I get to see a subtitled film, you know, one that's from out of the country, it always excites me because I'm more attracted to stories from Asia in general, like South Korea and Japan. I've become fond of Japan in the last couple of years. I just find something very relatable about the stories that are being told over there cinematically. But anyway, one of my favorite things is I love martial arts cinema, and I own maybe like a handful, 5 or 6 in my whole collection. But the Raid movies by Gareth Evans, that stars Iko Uwais, and they're from Indonesia. They're great if you have not seen them. They are 2 of the best action films I've seen, and I got to see both of those on the big screen. The first one actually played locally here in my town. I noticed it the last day because I went to buy tickets for my cousin who, even though he was old enough, he didn't have an ID, so I went and bought tickets for American Wedding or something like that. One of those weird raunchy comedies, but yeah. And then I walked out and I turned to my left and I see The Raid Redemption, as it's called over here for some reason. And I saw it and I freaked out. I'm a huge fan of Morantau, the Iko Uwais Gareth Evans collaboration before that. And yeah, he dropped me off and I told my friend, I didn't drive at the time, and we went and saw The Raid that night, and it blew my mind, and I loved it. It was just me, him, this old couple, and the husband was like, yeah, the whole time. You would hear him occasionally be like, wow, and then the wife would be like, oh my goodness, and then some people down in the front, just a couple people. So that was an amazing experience. And then cut to a couple years later when The Raid 2 comes out, and I showed my friends in Tennessee, because I moved a couple states down. I introduced them to The Raid. Actually, a few days before we went and saw The Raid 2, because neither one of the people that I went with had heard of it. I actually showed another friend, but he couldn't make it. But anyway, so I showed them, blew their minds, and then I said, we have to go see The Raid 2, because I guarantee you it's going to be better. And we were all blown away by it. The sound design that they did at Lucas Sounds, the people that do the Star Wars movies, just that cinema experience. It was us and a couple of groups of just some people that were there, and just watching it blew me away. I loved seeing that. Anyway, without dragging that out, then I think a close second, I kind of put The Raid together. It was about the same experience. I was a teenager. I don't remember how old I was, but my cousin, myself, and my younger brother, we all went to the cinema down in Tennessee. We were there for, I think, the summer, and we went and saw the Ronnie Yu directed, Jet Li starring Fearless, and again, that movie blew me away. I remember we were walking around the school, and my cousin there was pretending we could like fight like Hu Yanjiao, however you say his name, Jet Li's character. Yeah, Fearless was an awesome experience. So that's what I'm going to go with for my favorite cinema experiences. I can't ever pick one of anything. But yeah, moving on to the 9th question, which is your favorite guilty pleasure. And I hate to be that guy. I used to maybe when I was young. I don't have guilty pleasures. If you like something, you like something. I'm not going to go on a spiel about all that. But if I have to pick some, I guess those movies that are so bad they're good, I like some of those. Like, I think The Room's enjoyable. I hated it the first time I watched it because I didn't really get the appeal of that. And some people still don't get the appeal of the so bad it's good. Miami Connections, freaking awesome. Samurai Cop is a movie that I watch every year around the holidays with my older brother. That movie is so insane. I own a digital copy, and I actually just haul my PlayStation around on the holidays and we watch it together. And then if I have to go with movies, it's still a bad movie. Maybe just bad in general, but Jingle All the Way is another tradition that we have around Christmas time. And I think that movie's hilarious. Turbo Man, Arnold Schwarzenegger looking for a toy that he ends up becoming in the end. That's not really spoilers, but Jingle All the Way. Question number 10 is, what is your favorite foreign film? My other favorite film of all time, Masahiro Shinoda's 1964 masterpiece. This is a masterpiece, Pale Flower, or Kawaita Hana. Yeah, this is about a man named Muraki, I think. He gets out of jail or prison after, I think, 3 years or so, and he returns to his city to continue his, gangster life. And things have changed. More buildings have sprouted up. Everyone's become more shoulder to shoulder. There's a lot more people. And in the beginning, he says, like, people and technology is, progressing, and people are becoming more multiplied and get closer and closer, like, smashed in by these buildings. But the more we are in number, the more apart we are. So the closer we are, the more apart we are. And I think it really echoes to today's society. But anyway, he meets this woman whose name I forget, the big buggy-eyed lady, and he meets her at a gambling den, and she likes, living on the wild side, gambling, cars. She loves quick thrills sort of thing, and he becomes infatuated by her and her by him, and they form a destructive relationship. And I won't say much more than that. This movie has some of the best cinematography I've ever seen in my life. I think this is one of, if not maybe the finest film I've seen visually. It's up there with Park Chan-wook's films. I love the performance by the lead actor, whose name I don't know, Rio something. He just gives a great performance as the gangster he knows that he's steeped in his past, that he can't escape it as much as he wants to. And then this woman who just kind of finds a thrill out of this ugly side of the world that he inhabits and has lived and been ingrained in and been a part of seemingly his whole life. And yeah, it's a film that just rocks me every time I see it. I love this film and recommend it to everybody. Pale Flower is a masterpiece, released by Criterion, and a beautiful edition. Masahiro Shinoda, I believe, is still alive to this day. He stopped making films, of course, but some other works he did: Himiko, Double Suicide, Silenced. He did the original Silenced that Martin Scorsese just remade. Anyway, Pale Flower is amazing. Is one of the best Yakuza movies. Probably is my favorite Yakuza movie. And it is my favorite film of all time besides Hanabi. So yeah, thank you for watching this simple movie tag. Sorry for stretching it out like I always do. My videos are just lengthier. I just love talking about movies. And hopefully I can edit out enough of this that there's not going to be a lot of fat. No pun intended. But anyway, hopefully this video looks okay. I know I'm a lot closer to the camera than normal. Just trying some different framing techniques and whatnot. Yeah, I'm supposed to tag people, so I'm going to tag Fake Plastic Films. My friend Ryan from Fake Plastic Films doesn't do videos much anymore. Maybe he'll take the time to make a video from this. I know we all want to see him come back. And then Pieces of Work, Corey from Pieces of Work. He is a reviewer, a film critic on YouTube. He doesn't do much outside of reviews. He occasionally streams some games, and he does some conversational, like, best of lists that he live streams. So it would be cool to see you two answer these questions. And to all of you, thank you for watching. Thanks again, Huss, for tagging me. And I will see you all next time with some more film reviews. Take care. Bye-bye.